Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast presented by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up, and you will get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Welcome in. Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen and Mario Tirabassi. Got a fun show on deck for you today. We are officially 1 week away from the opening of Blackhawks training camp. With that in mind, we are going to dive into the Blackhawks prospect system. We're going to discuss Kyle Beach, who has found a new job in hockey, which is outstanding. And a couple NHL teams have unveiled some new uniforms for this year, so we're going to react. And we're going to do a little fashion corner here on CHGO Blackhawks. Make sure you hit that like button if you're watching us live on YouTube. Make sure, of course, you subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube page. If you're listening to the podcast the old-fashioned way, make sure you're subscribed on whichever app you use to listen, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever. Hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so when a new episode drops, you know and you get it right away. Beautiful sound effects. Good timing by Lawrence. That's why we got the best in the business running the ship today. Looking sharp.
I got to say, Greg and I look pretty similar.
We do. I thought we had the same shirt on.
A little coordinated today.
Let's see. Some good taste in clothing going on here.
I think it's weird. Every time I see Greg,
one less button at least.
Well, this is professional, Greg. The second we go off the air, the other button gets really,
But every time Greg walks in, I look him up and down because I want to see what the Roosevelt is. But
Sure
if people didn't know that, they'd be like, wow, Jay's really digging Greg today.
no one's going to blame you.
At least we have shirts on, though, because I know there's a friend.
Right.
Our buddy is we gotta find out from the chat. Like if we could get shirtless smoking guy on the show, how huge would that be for the ratings? Like what sort of money do we have to raise on super chats?
We don't even have to ask him a question. Let's just get him like an elevated stool to sit behind us and smoke cigarettes with no shirt on during the entire show.
And he can either nod or shake his head in approval or disapproval.
He can grill some meats. That's what else he does up there. Yeah, it could be fun.
It's an unofficial mascot of CHGO Sports.
And our fearless leader Jake was grilling some Green Ridge Farm foods on the Weber Grill today. About 2 minutes after Greg and I ordered our burgers down the street.
Yeah. so life is all about timing. But you know what? I will need a post-show hot dog for the walk back to the car.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Road dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesse James.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so
nice.
It's fun today. We got a packed house in the office today.
Literally everyone is here.
It's the first time in a long time it's been like this.
Cubs are going on right now over in Studio B. Watch that show at 2:30. You can watch it on the tape. Don't flip over now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sox guys are here watching. We got some Bears. It's like reminds me of the early days when we were all here.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. It's cool.
It means stuff is in season again, and we like that.
Yeah, we're about to all be in season simultaneously.
Narfin would like a shirtless episode. I'm not sure.
No one wants this.
Yeah, sure.
No. Mario's like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let me show the abs off, and Greg and I are like,
we get another. See, what's with you wear flip flops once, and the feet weirdos don't let you forget about it.
And Greg, show feet.
Hey, super chat. I'll take my shoes off.
How much for the? How much of a? Super
I don't know.
Chat?
Put my Venmo information up on the screen, and you guys start throwing me cash. I'll take my shoes
Sports.
off.
We're not paying you. We want to pay CHGO Sports.
No, then I'm going to OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Okay. CHG OnlyFans.
CHG OnlyFans.
Yeah, see, there's an idea. Now we're thinking about it.
That's a good way to make $3.
I forgot to promote, by the way, Greg and I had a chance to chat with Ethan Del Mastro after practice today. So we're going to share that brief interview. Nothing earth-shattering, but it's always good to catch up with the Blackhawks prospect. We also heard from Anders Sorensen after practice today, so we'll get into that a little bit. But, Mario, we're going to let you set things up. You've got a really cool piece coming out for allchgo.com tomorrow, which sort of leads us nicely into our discussion about the prospects.
Yeah, so this is the time of year where, prospect rankings and lists and all that are very popular, and those kinds of arguments and debates online run rampant. I, over the years, have discovered that those debates and lists and whatnot are nonsensical because are we really going to argue over which Blackhawks prospect is number 4 and which is number 8 and really split hairs there, and then someone will jump in and be like, neither of these guys are in my top 15. Great. So what I have discovered as being a more, at least in my opinion, a more proper way of looking at these kids, really, and is a pyramid system. It's not a pyramid scheme, but but a pyramid system.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, oh, careful.
For the low price of $9.99, you can sign up for my pyramid scheme.
Yeah,
Bernie
exactly.
Madoff system of prospect rating.
It's the Bernie pyramid. No, it's just putting players in tiers where they kind of fit in both their development path and where they sit in the organization. I think we with the lists ranking them 1 to 15 or 20 or 25 or 50, whatever people want to do. You kind of get into the weeds with some of those those paths of where these players might be. So, in a pyramid system, you get your very top of the pyramid is very small, very narrow, because you really only have maybe 1 or 2 players in that top upper echelon for most teams. And then as you get down to the bottom, you kind of just have a bunch of everybody else at the bottom where, some of those tiers, you need those players to have a good foundation,
sure,
but they're not really going to be at the top of the top of the pyramid, the guys that are franchise building players. So I've done this for a few years now for different outlets. This will be another iteration on allchgo.com. Look for it tomorrow. Become a member and see, check out the pyramid, see what I think about all the prospects, where they sit. And it's really, it's a simple process of kind of figuring out who is and who is not a prospect in my book. If you've played less than 90 NHL games and you are 24 years or under 24 years old by the start of the season, we'll consider you a prospect. So it's interesting. I looked back at the last few seasons that I've done, especially last year, and I kind of had to go back and be like, all right, I need to start tempering my expectations with some of these guys, because last year when I did the prospect pyramid, I had Kirby Dach listed at the top of the pyramid as a franchise player, and he, 1, doesn't seem like he's going to do that, and 2, is gone. So
if he does do it, it
cross
won't be
him
here.
off then.
Yeah, exactly. So this year's pyramid will be interesting. Again, allchgo.com tomorrow. We'll get into it.
Yeah, with the risk of spoiling it, we don't want to blow the entire thing, but when we're talking
reveal
about
the magic,
potential franchise players in the system, I don't even know if there's one, to be honest with you.
Yeah. When I looked at the prospects, looked at what we've seen of them, what we've heard from other people that we've talked to about some of these guys over the years, and where they stand, the top of the pyramid doesn't really come to a point.
It's a
for the
squared off
Blackhawks.
pyramid.
It's kind of squares off at some point. But it's good though, because from last year to this year, at least in my opinion, that like tip of the point is kind of flattened, but it's a little wider than it was.
Yeah.
So it's good and bad, and in different places. Some guys have gone up, some guys have gone down, some guys have fallen completely to the pit of everybody else. And I think on the whole, I think the Blackhawks system has improved
Definitely.
year over year. And especially, looking at prospect camp earlier this summer, watching the guys, play this week as they get into the showcase. The first game's tomorrow night. It'll be good to see, some prospects that you can actually look and say, I see an NHL future with this guy. Whereas a few years ago, maybe there were 2 or 3. Now I think there's at least 6, maybe 7. That are playing right now that you're like, I can see an NHL future with this guy right now.
Yeah, there's definitely improvement, and I think something that needs to be considered and to be optimistic about the prospect system now is, regardless of the players, it's the attitude of the new regime.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stressing of patience and development is huge too going forward, because you could have the greatest. You can have the number 3 overall pick of the draft and then just say, now you're an NHL player, go do it, and then wonder why he failed miserably.
Yeah.
So that new attention to the development and the slow process to say, yeah, Lucas Reichel may play in Rockford a little bit this year. I mean, sure, I'm not a fan of that idea, but okay, fine. I guess it's fine. Like, But you never would have had that in past years. So now that we've got some higher draft picks, some more exciting players, but now we have them in a system where they're like, it's okay if you're not ready for 2 or 3 years. Where before it was like, Henry Jokiharju, rushed to the NHL, gone. Adam Boqvist, rushed to the NHL, gone.
Kirby Dach,
rushed to the NHL, now gone. You got to stop doing that. You might as well just not have any draft picks if that's what you're going to do.
True.
So now we have a new regime that values development and starting it early. That's what we mentioned, Anders Sorensen. He's the head coach for the weekend. He's the Rockford IceHogs head coach. He talked to us a little bit today, and he said that he's already had a lot of really good conversations with Luke Richardson. They're working hand in hand. He's going to run a lot of the same thing. He even said, what we're doing this weekend is the stuff they're going to run when they become here full time. So they're getting a taste of it early, right out of the gate.
It's how you have to do it. It is completely nonsensical for your feeder team to run a different system than your NHL team.
Right.
It's preposterous. It is so common sense, and a lot of people kind of scoffed at the Cubs way when Theo Epstein came to Chicago, but he's like, why would we not teach our players at the lowest levels the same thing we're teaching our major league players, so when the transition isn't difficult from level to level to level? It makes perfect sense. And I want to mention, we talked a little bit ago how Scott Powers wrote probably about a month ago that the plan was for Lucas Reichel to start the season in Rockford. Read his piece with Mark Lazarus today, and it said they do not want a yo-yo situation with Reichel. So once he's here, he's here. It's not going to be an up and down for Reichel. So maybe he does start the season in Rockford, but then when he's called up, be it 5 games, 10 games, whatever, that's the last time Lucas Reichel gets called up because he will be a Blackhawk from there on out. And Reichel said in that piece that his goal is to be a full-time Blackhawk this year.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's totally off the table. If he has a great camp and a great preseason, why on earth would you bother sending him down? But we have spent a lot of time talking about Lucas Reichel, and we spent a lot of the summer talking about the draft picks. And as we look at the prospects, there's a few names that I think could be part of the team this year that maybe we've glossed over a little bit. We got into Philip Roos a little bit yesterday. I was watching him closely today during drills, and very much what we saw from him in prospects camp, I saw again today. The poise, the calm, clearly someone who's been a pro for a long time, just has a different level of control to his game. Something Anders Sorensen, by the way, mentioned about Isaac Phillips, saying when he came his first year as a pro, he was sort of scatterbrained. He sort of slowed the game down a little bit. Philip Roos already has that. So I think Roos is a guy with a real chance to make the team. And one guy we haven't really talked about at all is Cole Gutman, who was a Tampa Bay Lightning draft pick, became a free agent this summer, signed with the Hawks. I think he's another guy with a legitimate shot to make the team. And Sorensen said today he loves his game. He used the word impressive when describing Gutman, another guy who's an older prospect who might be able to play for the Hawks day one, if not be a big part of things in Rockford. So it's not just, Reichel and Mitchell and then Nazar and Korchinski and Allen and those guys. There's also a crop of guys in Rockford that really we haven't spent a lot of time talking about that could make an impact this year.
Yeah, I think Gutman can be that guy that will push for a spot in camp, probably go down to Rockford. He'll probably be one of the top guys in Rockford, but he'll be that guy that first guy up. He'll be up and down 4 or 5 times. If there's an injury, he's the guy that calls up that you can depend on. We've had so many of those guys the last couple of years, but he can be that guy where then a guy like, Josiah Slavin or Mike Hardman then doesn't miss that time in Rockford to come up and play 6 minutes on the fourth line for one game and go back. So, yeah, he's definitely an intriguing guy. He's not a guy that you go, holy cow, start printing out those playoff tickets. We got Cole Gutman, but he's going to be a valuable piece to this organization this year, whether it's Rockford or a fourth liner here in Chicago.
Yeah, and I think, there's definitely a mold of player that Kyle Davison is looking to bring into the system. And Gutman is in that mold where he's a hard worker, good character person, and he's come from a really successful. I'm really distracted by our guy here.
He's back.
doing
He's
some stretches.
He's just showing off.
Stretching
now.
out, smoking a cigarette. He's just living his life. But yeah, Gutman is he's that character guy. 4 years at a quality program in the NCAA with Denver. Was the captain of the Pioneers last year. As they won the national championship. So that's, it's a lot of experience at those lower levels that makes a big difference. And I think he's going to be, on that cusp. I think he'll definitely push for some time in the preseason. But, if he lands in Rockford, that there's no problem with that because, the Blackhawks are investing a lot of time in the prospect system, especially in the Ice Hogs. And what we saw from them last season were hoping to see another step forward from them this season where they're going to be another young team, but these are young guys, 23, 24, or 22, 23, 24-year-olds that have 1 or 2 already professional seasons under their belt for the most part. So they're going to be young, but they've already got some experience. They've played in some important games in the playoffs. They're in a tough division, but it's going to be interesting for, Anders Sorensen, first year as a full-time head coach. A lot of these young guys that are gonna cycle through have a lot of opportunity, and they brought in some veterans too for the Ice Hogs. Adam Clendenning, Dylan Sekura, Brett Seney is probably going to be playing in Rockford. David Gust. Like they have a lot of experience at the AHL level that's going to be important to mix in with those young guys, and Rockford's going to have an interesting season, hopefully a really exciting season. And what the Blackhawks want is for that to trickle upwards to their NHL team as those young guys progress up the prospect system and into the NHL. They have that culture of success and winning at a young age, and you get some of these young guys get their chemistry together so that potentially when they get up to the NHL together, they have that already going. You're not mixing in 12, 15 different guys trying to find chemistry. You have a couple guys that already have that from playing in the minor leagues together. And we've seen with some teams recently that have had players like that come up together, make a big impact.
Well, you mentioned the type of player Kyle Davidson wants, and it's everybody wants the really fast guys with lots of skill. That's the easy one. Everybody's looking for that, but you mentioned the type of player that he wants. In addition to that, because not everybody's going to be that type of player, the Sam Lafferty type. But how many times Jay and I sat there and Anders Sorensen spoke for 5 minutes, but how many times did he say between the dots?
At least 3 or 4.
That's like between. He plays. I like him. He plays between the dots. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of guy. And all I could think in the back of my mind is he kept saying, between the dots. In the back of my mind, I'm going, have fun with Dylan Sekura this year, Anders. Because that's the exact opposite. But anywho, and he gave a little shout out to your guy, your Samuel Savoie, called him a competitive bugger.
He is a competitive
And
bugger.
you kicked my chair the second he said
I
it.
literally did.
You're like, told you. At first, I thought you did that on accident. I was like, no, that was on purpose.
No.
So I acknowledged yes, he called him a competitive bugger.
Yeah, I was watching him pretty closely today, and you can tell he's not at the level of prospect as these top guys, but he is everywhere. Like he's in corners, he's finishing checks, he's relentless, and there's always a spot for a guy like that. He's not very big. I'm not going to say he's the second coming of Andrew Shaw, but the style of play is very similar.
Even
and who knows?
Like physically, he reminds me of Andrew Shaw.
He looks like Dustin from Stranger Things a little bit.
A little bit.
He's got that,
bit. He's got that
the Cabbage Patch face a little bit.
Yeah, he's got that look that just like this guy will gnaw your ear off to score a goal if he had to.
Yes.
He's not a guy I'm shooting up my depth chart. We'll see tomorrow where he is on the pyramid, but he's a fun guy to watch. And if he was drafted mid rounds this past year, and if your AHL coach is already noticing you, and has a nickname for you, a glowing nickname for you, then you're doing exactly what you want to do in this situation. Making yourself noticed in front of the NHL, AHL staffs. I mean, that's all he can do right now. And I'm interested to see what he does in actual games. He kind of mixed it up a little bit in development camp, where you could see there were a couple times where he was just ready to and you go, wait a minute, hold on, that's my teammate, calm down.
Him and Aiden Thompson almost dropped the gloves.
So now he's going to get to play against guys wearing a different jersey.
Yeah.
And if you punch a guy in the face, it won't be the end of the world.
No, might as well.
And you never know with the Minnesota Wild and their prospects. They kind of, based on covering the AHL the last few years, the Iowa Wild, they have a lot of guys that make it very easy to want to punch them. And I don't know what their roster looks like. I know they took some heat that the last Traverse City tournament with their roster, and that was the tournament that Kirby Dach got injured.
I remember that,
in a game against the Minnesota Wild prospects was hit from behind into the boards by a guy that I don't even know if he even played in the ECHL that year. So there was some heat from that. So maybe even though maybe Colton can go out there and get revenge for Kirby and start a kerfuffle.
Yeah. What I remember about Savoie was him speaking at prospect camp and basically saying that the thing he does best and his favorite part of his game is getting under the skin of his opponent. And you can teach a guy, you can work on a guy's speed. You can work on his ability to see the ice. You can work on his ability to, shoot better, more accurately. A guy can get stronger, but to have the ability to be, an antagonizer on the ice and have that, have that kind of like underrated skill of being, kind of Brad Marchand-esque, where, Brad Marchand is one of the most skilled players in the NHL. But what sets him apart from other players at that skill level is the fact that he's just a dick on the ice all the time.
And I think he has more fun doing that than scoring goals.
Exactly. And it seems like Savoie has that kind of attitude where he's just like, yeah, I might go out, get a goal, get an assist, or, make a big hit. But what I really want to do is to get the other guy across the ice from me to take a stupid penalty, and then I'm going to laugh in his face as we get a power play. That seems like his attitude,
it's so fun
and that's
to
not
be that
something
guy.
you could.
It is.
Yeah,
I've
and
never
it's
been able to
that's
be
not
that
something
guy.
you can go out and say, hey, go be that guy. Like
Right.
if you're that guy,
You have to be born that way.
you gotta and
You have to be like
seems
Lady
like
Gaga and be born that way.
That's right.
Yes, Lady Gaga. There you go.
Did you ever think we'd get a Lady Gaga reference on?
I wouldn't have thought in the first
5
6
days a
months,
week?
but
Throughout the
done.
summer?
Hey, we got a quick question I want to address in the
Yeah.
chat from Anthony. Do you ever see Evan Barratt playing in the NHL? Unfortunately, I do not. I don't. Yeah. There's not enough there.
I just don't know what
he's got the look. He's a great kid. I've talked to him a bunch of times in Rockford. I want him to succeed, but it's just he's a half a step too slow.
There's nothing he does really, really, really well.
No.
I feel like for 2 years we've kind of been waiting to see the Evan
There's-
Barratt turn
there's
the
been
corner,
no
and he just
projection.
hasn't really done it.
He's kind of flattened out, and he is what he is at this point.
Yeah, and I think what hurts him is he's not a bad player, but I think he's just been leapfrogged. I think Reichel came in, was already better than him.
Yeah,
I think
it's tough to be leapfrogged as a forward in this organization.
Yeah.
over the last couple of years, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
happened because he's kind of stayed at the same level, not gotten worse, but not gotten better. While other guys,
where
have gotten
guys
better.
like Mackenzie Entwistle, Philip
Yes.
Kurashev, Josiah Slavin, they've come in and they've progressed beyond him.
Right.
He's not a bad player. I feel like on maybe another organization he could have another opportunity to get into the NHL, but I think right now, unless this training camp and preseason he really knocks some socks off, I don't see him being one of the first options coming out of Rockford up to the NHL. I could be wrong, but I don't know. And I don't want to say he's done developing. He's only, 23, 24?
He could still make that jump, but
yeah.
at this point, it'd be a very surprising thing. Not impossible, just I don't see it happening, but, hopefully he proves us wrong. Maybe this is the year he makes that jump. I mean, there's been too many times in Rockford where you don't even realize he's playing until you look at the score sheet at the end of the night. And if
It's not a good sign.
And if you can't be a guy that is noticeable night in, night out at the AHL level in your third professional season,
Yeah.
it might be time for a start somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame because, when he was drafted in a couple of years, it felt like he was going to be a guy who was going to be part of things. I remember on the Madhouse podcast, James loved Evan Barratt. He's one of his favorite guys to track, and there just hasn't been that jump that you expect from most prospects at that level. And we were talking to in the locker room today, we're sort of asking like, who should we talk to? And one Blackhawks person was like, "No, he's not really a prospect, but Evan's good to talk to." Just kind of like an outright dismissal of his status as a prospect.
Yeah,
he's a forgotten guy because he was a second round draft pick,
third round,
and he
was really good in college. Played for Team USA at the World Juniors. Like he looked like his trajectory was heading towards the NHL, and it just kind of plateaued a bit.
Yeah, so we'll see how he looks in camp. I'm sure he's going to get some preseason time. He'll get in a game or two. I mean, you got to see now what you got. And,
definitely.
Maybe, but I just don't see that happening.
It's like we said, new coaching staff, clean slate for everybody. So hopefully, maybe Evan Barratt makes an impression on Luke Richardson, but we'll see. It just doesn't seem like as you're projecting guys who might be part of things here. It just doesn't. It's really hard when you're looking at the spots available, especially to start the season.
Right. Yeah.
There's really not that many forward spots open because Lafferty's going to have one. Future captain Reese Johnson will probably have a spot. Jujar Kara's back. Kachuk, Radish, Kurashev. We don't know what's going to happen with Lafferty. Blackwell, Domi, Athanasiou, Taves, Johnson, Kane. Like there's just not a lot of spots open.
I mean,
you got to make a spot for. Likely, you'll have to make a spot for Lucas Reichel. You have Mackenzie Entwistle. You got Mike Hardman in the mix. Like, it's
he's got a lot of guys to beat out.
Yeah.
He's going to need a lot of lower body injuries to really be in the discussion.
We'll see what happens.
But maybe this is the year that he says, that he hits that stride. But I'm not betting on it.
Look, today we've seen 4 days of development camp. We saw a whole day of drills today, and I did not notice Evan Barratt.
Yeah.
No.
You noticed Reichel. You noticed Korchinski. You noticed the guys. Colton Dock looked really good. Philip Bruce stood out. That was a guy who got my attention.
Yeah.
Who was I asking you about? I said, whose number? Somebody asked you about what number they were because they were standing out too, and I can't think of who it was.
I think it was Roos, wasn't it?
It might have been Roos.
Yeah, it might have been.
But Ethan Del Mastro. Those guys. You could tell we're at a different level from the other guys on the ice, and just Evan Barratt's just a body out there. It's not a good sign. So, hey, what are you going to do? It's just so, Nate says in the chat, if you can't make this sucky team, how can he make another? That's the question. Maybe he's that classic, 4A hockey player.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's worse things you could do for a living than play in the AHL for 12 years. I mean,
sure.
Or go to Europe and get paid well to play hockey in Europe, but. Yeah, I don't see an NHL career in his future.
All right, so keep an eye on allchgo.com tomorrow for Mario's prospect pyramid with a flat top. It's going to be good stuff. We're going to play our interview with Ethan Del Mastro coming up here in a minute. But first, we want to remind you
I think it's a trapezoid, actually.
Trapezoid. It's football season, if you haven't noticed. Apparently 100 billion people watch the NFL this weekend.
Yeah, that makes sense.
PointsBet is bringing you a better way to bet live on games, which means you're watching a game. In the course of a minute, you can bet on the next drive to be a touchdown and cash out on your live bet as it's happening. You can win money during the game. You don't have to wait for the conclusion. You can say, hey, opening game against Green Bay, I think the Bears are going to run the opening kickoff back. Boom, you place that wager on PointsBet. It comes in. You cash it out right away. Keep playing as the game goes on. It's an awesome way to stay in the action during the NFL season. Build the perfect live same-game parlay by combining your favorite bets anytime during the game. That includes spreads, totals, player props, and more. Choose the outcome of the next drive and the next points with PointsBet Lightning Bets. So whether you're on the move or on the couch, do it live with PointsBet. Download the PointsBet app today and sign up with the code CHGO. You'll get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER for crisis counseling and referral services.
Am I telling the fine people about Athletic Greens?
You should.
You
All
are
right.
now.
Well, Athletic Greens, yeah. If you haven't heard about them by now, you must be a first-time listener. But I'll tell you about Athletic Greens and their AG1 formula, designed to improve your gut health, optimize your immune system, and give you more natural energy. With just one scoop of AG1, you are absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole foods sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. And if you have different dietary restrictions for whatever reasons, if you eat dairy-free or gluten-free or keto, vegan, paleo, whatever it might be, you are good to go with AG1. It can fit into all those different diets. It's easy to incorporate into your life no matter how busy you might be. And right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you got to do is go to athleticgreens.com/CHGO Blackhawks. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/CHGO Blackhawks to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
All right, after Prospects Camp today, or whatever you want to call it, the Tom Curver's preparation program.
The preparation program.
Greg and I caught up with Blackhawks defenseman Ethan Del Mastro. And Greg, I think you had the first question for him.
Yeah, just, it was nice to catch up with Ethan again. And just kind of asked him about his experience at the World Junior Championships, where he was a
Golden boy.
Gold medal winner, where he was a late roster addition as an injury replacement and then became a fixture in their lineup. So here's what he had to say about that.
Yeah, pretty crazy. You go from being at their U20 summer camp, and then you come back home, and then you're right back out there again, and it's kind of a surprise. But obviously, you couldn't be happier. It's something that any kid dreams of playing in. So, and I just went out there with an open mindset, and they put me in for a game, and I just tried to do what I do best, and try to be that shutdown guy, and provide an aspect to that team that could be helpful in them winning, and I think they liked it and they kept me in. So overall, a great experience. And, you can't be mad when you come out with a goal too.
How do you keep your mindset? It's been such a busy summer. You were here when you were at World Juniors. When you're back here, then you're going back to your junior team here, and another tournament in December. How do you keep focused? Yeah,
like you said, crazy kind of summer and past couple months. But I think you kind of take it with you and do the most of it. It's something that any kid would dream of doing. So when you're out there, try your best and enjoy every moment of it.
It's got to be a hell of a confidence boost to go into the Team Canada camp not knowing if you're going to have a full-time spot, then winning it. So technically you're one of the 6 best defensemen in Canada. It's got to do a lot for your the mental part of your game and the confidence part of your game.
Yeah, I think obviously it provides a little bit of confidence, but I think there's always room to improve and get better. And I think that's a big part of coming out here is to get better and learn, and that's what I plan to do.
Starting to get to know these guys, you get a development camp, now you're here. Who has stood out to you? I know it's only the second day, but anybody looking really good, really strong? Anyone's made a jump since development camp?
Yeah, there's a lot of great players out here. They're always pushing you. There's a lot of top end talent. I think obviously the 7th overall Kevin Krasinski. He's obviously been a great addition, and a young superstar in the dub, and he's coming out here and he's looked good. And I look forward to seeing him grow and improve as a player.
How much fun is it going to be tomorrow to actually get a game in? You've been here, it's been practice, and now, some opponents you can actually go out and maybe rough up a little bit. How much fun is that going to be?
Yeah, obviously it's amazing whenever you can play games. It's a special feeling, and it should be fun with this group of guys and go out there and play them in a back-to-back game. It's better to play games in practice. I think obviously you want to get better in practice, but the game's where the fun is, so it should be exciting.
Is there any form of game planning for those 2 games against the Wild prospects, or is it just kind of go out there and scrimmage? What's the process going into that?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of structure you're trying to build right now in these couple days of practice, and kind of build off these practices and bring it to the game. And obviously it's new players and players that haven't played with each other before, but I think you just go out there and try to do your best to stick to the system that they put forward, and just do your best to kind of showcase yourself. I mean, it's a showcase couple games, so I think everyone goes out there and just tries their best.
Ethan Del Mastro after Blackhawks practice today. Good kid. Glad we got a little bit of a rapport with him. So in 2 or 3 years, that'll be really handy.
Yeah, no, it's like, hey, no pressure, Ethan, but we like you, you like us. Please become a regular NHL player.
If you told me he was 25, I'd believe you. Like, he just seems very mature, not just physically, but also, in the way he talks, way he carries himself. It's probably a reason why he's now going into his second year as captain of the Mississauga Steelheads in the OHL there. Again, we talk about, the kind of quality of player that Kyle Davidson wants to have in the organization. I know Del Mastro wasn't a Kyle Davidson pick, but he definitely seems like the kind of guy that Davidson, even though he doesn't really have any, hasn't shown too many loyalties to the prior front office's guys, so to say. It seems like a player that I think Davidson would like, and a player that I think Luke Richardson would love to eventually coach. So, it's good to hear from him. Excited to see what he does this weekend. Funny little tidbit here, as we've pulled up the Minnesota Wild prospect Tom Curver's prospect showcase roster. Two players that have a small bit of recent history in connection with Del Mastro. Damon Hunt and Carson Lambos on the defensive side. Hunt is who was replaced by Del Mastro for Team Canada at this past summer's World Juniors Championships. And Carson Lambos is who Del Mastro took the place of in the starting lineup to stay in the lineup and eventually help Team Canada win a gold medal. So, yeah, when you look at the little connection there, it's a little,
and also,
little fun.
Damon Hunt spells his first name the way the House of the Dragon, Damon, the brother, spells it.
Yes.
Daemon.
Yes, not like Matt Damon.
Not like Matt.
Or Damon Avenue.
Yeah,
But it's a different spelling there.
Well, I hope Ethan packed his gold medal so he could show it to Damon.
I hope he wears it on the ice.
Yeah, we're on the ice.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Jesper Wallstedt in goal for the
Yeah, I like
Wild.
that.
Yeah,
This is really a
It's a
prospect.
pretty good roster. I mean, they got Marco Rossi, who
Yeah, I'll be
who's
good to see.
probably like the Wild's Lucas Reichel.
I love his shampoo.
And Adam Beckman's another nice young player that's going to be
Yeah.
good for them. So that's not a lot of goonage.
They got a
going
good
on
squad.
with that. Yeah.
Good
So
squad.
yeah, just go getting the chance to see Jesper Wallstedt play in a small rink for free.
Yeah, right.
Hey, if you
not
got
a-
a chance
not a
to
bad
do
deal.
it, yeah, that kid is going to be a stud goalie. I was super bummed when the Hawks traded that draft pick for Seth Jones. Now, I wasn't upset about getting Seth Jones, but I really wanted them to use that pick on either Jesper Wallstedt or Sebastian Koseth.
Would have been nice to
Two
get
goalies.
him back in the Fleury trade too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Could've-
That wasn't gonna not
could've
gonna
wouldn't
happen.
have happened. No.
didn't happen, but yeah.
But
Yeah, Wallstedt was definitely someone I was hoping that the Blackhawks would have targeted a few drafts ago. But, games Friday night and Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
Good opportunity to go out and see these guys play for
Bears
free.
don't play at 7:30, so there's no
Yeah.
conflict of interest there. Go
Not
check
at
out
all.
the Hawks prospects for free at 1, and then
At the,
go
Fifth-
home, get
Fifth-
your wings and pizza ready, and
Fifth Third Arena.
maybe throw some Greenwich Farms sausage on the grill and have yourself
Yeah.
a night.
I want to see David Spacek, son of the cat-faced Blackhawk Yaroslav Spacek.
Yeah.
I wonder if he'll be around. Maybe
He's
he'll
got
be
a
around.
couple kids, because isn't there a Michael Spacek is his son too that was
I don't
with
know.
the Jets organization?
Could be.
I want to say is either a son or a nephew.
Yaroslav Spacek. If a cat and Dan Aykroyd had a child, that's what it would look like.
That's okay.
I never thought that combination would be on this.
No, it's true. It's true.
this,
I
show.
vaguely remember him being a unique-looking individual.
That is a way to put it.
Like he,
I see
like
what you
he
mean.
kind of like if you put him in a black turtleneck, he would be a James Bond villain.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think my description of Yaroslav Spacek is accurate. Dan Aykroyd mates with a cat, and that is the outcome.
Okay.
Sounds like a movie
Google it.
Dan Aykroyd may have passed up on before.
Go to the Google machine and tell me I'm wrong. Sorry, it's just
All right.
it is a perfect comp.
You know, with all of our CHGO staff here today, the internet has definitely slowed down because I'm trying to see if those Spacek family tree is what we're talking about here. But yeah, I guess that'll have to be decided later in the show.
Lawrence is using all of our
Yeah,
bandwidth right
he's
now.
got all the bandwidth.
trying to
Settle
find
down.
trying to find the best picture of
The cat-faced
of
man?
Mr. Spacek, who
I see it. I see what you mean.
Yeah, he's a looker,
yeah.
as they say in the old country. We do have some good news in the hockey Blackhawks space. Rick Westhead this morning tweeted out, I'm so pleased for Kyle Beach, who is transitioning to a new phase in his hockey career. Kyle will be an assistant coach this season with Trinity Western University's men's team in Langley, British Columbia. He's in a good space, and I'm so happy for him. So congrats to Kyle Beach for getting back into the hockey world as a coach. Love to catch up with Kyle this year at some point. I wonder how findable. Maybe Rick Westhead can hook us up with him. I know Kyle is on Twitter, but he's not very active on Twitter.
As you could imagine.
I could imagine that he's probably valuing some time.
He's probably
away.
Closed those DMs a long time ago.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't. Look, if we ever talked to him, of course we'd have to get into the thing. But it'd just be cool to catch up with him, and like. How have things been since all this came down, And Rick seems to indicate that he's in a good spot mentally. And I think, I don't know if you can ever really get closure on something like that, but acknowledgement is something.
Something is close to it, yeah.
You're getting, he probably got more support over the last 6 or 7 months than he got in his lifetime before then with people just reaching out. Of course, there's going to be the trolls you always talk about, but I think the vast majority of people are really in Kyle Beach's corner, maybe for the first time in his career, so or his life, really,
Yeah.
So hopefully he's in a good place, and it'd be cool to catch up with him and just, talk about life, because he's an interesting dude, and man, you talk about prospects that you really thought were going to be great, and he's one of them, man. And maybe had the Hawks not failed him, he could have been.
Things could have turned out differently for him, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's, transitioning to a coaching role obviously puts the end to his playing career. It seems. I know he was playing in Germany in one of the lower divisions, but last I saw, he was, I think, almost a 2-point per game player in that division. Take that for what it's worth. But I mean, to see him succeeding on the ice and now have an opportunity to be a coach and provide some players some coaching a coach in a coaching role, provide some players that experience that maybe he didn't get, and be able to kind of learn from those issues and provide just a better environment for those young players, I think is going to be probably therapeutic for him in some way.
Yeah.
So it's good to see. It's good to see some good news for Kyle Beach, and I'll keep an eye on. Was it Trinity Western College?
Speaking of coaching, did we discuss Brent Seabrook being officially named?
We didn't. No. Yeah. Brent Seabrook also in a coaching role with the Vancouver
Greg and
Giants.
I did, technically.
Did you guys?
We did. We we did. But in passing, we didn't get too far into it.
Go ahead, guys.
Brent, I appreciate it. I sent you the link there in Slack, Lawrence, of Brent joining the club of men like me in body shape, and I'm really proud of Brent for joining the club.
Yeah, he's
it's something we all knew was coming.
You'd think
for Siebes, who was affectionately nicknamed Nachos at one point in his career.
Yeah.
Put on some weight, but good for him, man. And of course, he's got the New Balance shirt on. He's entered dad mode. He's full dad mode. He's got the New Balance shirt on. He's good to go. So congrats to Brent Seabrook. That's a guy who...
Did he also model for the Vancouver Giants logo?
He definitely looks like a guy that no longer gives a crap about anything. Like, yep, give me the free fleece and let's get to it. Let's start developing some players.
Well, I remember when they would do like Blackhawks like Zooms and stuff, and Seabrook would be on. He just had the gigantic bushy beard with like pieces of like chicken wings still stuck in there and stuff. I was just like, all right, this guy's enjoying his time at home, and
good for him, man.
Seen a razor in months.
He's earned it.
But even at the end of his career, when I would go, like the rare times I was able to actually go to games, I made a point to like really focus on him to see like, is it really as bad as we think it is? And yeah, he was a few steps slow.
Yeah.
But man, was he the leader on the ice. He was you talk about having a coach on the ice with you, directing everybody where to stand, pre-face-off. The guy just knows the game. His defensive instincts are incredible. I think just his hockey instincts in general. When you look at all the huge goals Brent Seabrook scored over his career, right place, right time. That's the kind of player he is and was. So I'm natural for a coaching position, and hopefully this gets him in the NHL at some point. I'd love to see him.
They should just have him sit in the penalty box, and every time a player gets a penalty, he can just calm him down and get things ready.
Dude, you must chill. Is he just like snacking on popcorn or whatever?
One quick thought on back to the beach stuff that I'm really happy that he's still in the game of hockey, because it's very easy for him to be like, screw
shut the door completely.
Sport. You all turned your back on me, but now he's still, and he's in a position where he's working with young players, and I think it's refreshing to get people like him into the coaching realm, because now I'm sure in his mind he's like, I can offer these kids what was denied to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If there is a problem, they can know that they can come to me and I will address. I'm going to break that cycle. If it's ever brought to me, I will make damn sure that I will not repeat others' mistakes. I think that's great, and I think we need more of that in the sport, of new people who have gone through this stuff who won't keep that cycle of team before players, winning before the good of our own players. So I think that's a good mindset to have in there, to where, listen, if you can't come to Kyle Beach with some sort of problem, then you can't go to anybody.
Yeah.
So it's good. I like having that. People who have gone through some trauma can now take those experiences and then bring it back into the game as a positive to kind of break that, to make sure those things don't happen again. And that's all we want. Mistakes were made. People admitted their mistakes. Took a little long. It cost a lot of people their jobs, and rightfully so. Now it's up to all of us in the hockey community to make sure that never happens again.
Did you notice, Greg, as we left the Blackhawks locker room today, the poster that was on the door?
I did not.
It was it looked like a Blackhawks press release, but it was permanently placed on the door, and it was like a workplace and locker room like harassment and behavior like guideline sheet, like an expectations rundown. I thought that was interesting. I didn't get a chance to like really stop and absorb it, but it did catch my eye as we were exiting to go talk to Anders Sorensen that there was a statement of expected behavior and tolerance and all those sort of things placed on the exit of the locker room. So I don't know, maybe that's been there forever and I've just never noticed it.
Right.
But this conversation today has sort of reminded me of that.
I'll be honest, I was distracted by Jakob Poor and the gun show he was displaying. I've only ever seen young Mr. Poor on the ice from a distance, and this dude was huge.
Yeah, he's huge.
He had some, this dude lifts. He does not skip squat day, that's for sure. He's a big dude. I wouldn't want to have to battle in the corner for a puck with him.
They're all I don't know. It just seemed like they were all big today.
Well, and Lucas Reichel, one of the biggest.
He was not in the locker room when we were in there.
Okay, but one of the biggest
he's already
things
hiding from the media.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the biggest things for him year over year was to get stronger, and from what we've heard, he's added 15 pounds. And shouldn't be the lanky tennis player figure that he used to have.
I told Derek King last year, just send him to my house for 2 weeks. We'll get some weight on him. It won't be the healthiest weight, but it'll be weight.
Yeah.
Just send him to CHGO Studios and let him eat meat sticks for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
there's
plenty of
Shout
Green
out to
Ridge
Green Ridge
Farms meat here for Lucas to chow down on and add a couple pounds here and put that weight to good use.
It's a good way to do it. It's our play of the week. Are we going to stick with what works?
We got an easy one this week.
Bears.
Way too easy. I mean, we've been riding that Bears train. We won 3 in a row on in the preseason. Technically, we won twice this week because you had your bet from 2 weeks ago, Bears on the money line and the under.
Mm-hmm.
I had the Bears on the money line as well as the points. So we all won those.
I feel like we're 5 weeks in a row we've hit.
Yeah,
we're rolling.
We're riding the Justin
good.
Fields train to early retirement,
Ride
baby.
that Bears train.
So I jumped on this a little too early because now it's gone. But we're going. The Bears are getting a crap ton of points this week.
Mm-hmm.
Currently on PointsBet, download that app, sign up, use the promo code CHGO, get those free bets, free membership, all that free stuff. Bears, as of this morning, we're getting 10 points.
Yep.
I locked in that bet on the opening line. It was 9.5.
Yeah.
It's gone up to 10. Yes, I know. It's Bears and Packers on Sunday night. That usually doesn't go very well. I know Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears. Yes, the Bears won a game against a really good team in a monsoon. Yes, the Packers got embarrassed but you know what? 10 points on any NFL game is a lot of points.
That's a lot.
I'm not saying the Bears are winning. I'm just saying that's probably a sucker bet, and maybe I'm a sucker, but I don't think the Packers are putting up a double-digit win here. All the garbage that we've heard all offseason about the Bears, no weapons for Justin Fields. What weapons does Aaron Rodgers have? Who's he throwing it to?
Yeah, Christian Watson couldn't catch.
People who
last
can't
weekend.
catch the ball.
Right, that one where the guy was wide open right through his hands.
Flunk.
And he's already yelling at coaches and being a whiny little piss baby because that's what he does.
Not Aaron Rodgers.
So it took him all of 3 series to be the real Aaron Rodgers. So maybe, just maybe, this is the time that, the Bears finally give him hey, as long as they lose by 9, we're all happy. So that's the points bet play of the week. Take the 10 points with the Bears in Lambeau. It's not the greatest odds in the world. You're not going to win $1 million, but, winning half of your
Not with
bet
that
back is
attitude.
better than losing your entire bet.
True.
So that's our
True.
points bet play of the week. The Bears plus 10.
Bears.
Bears.
All right, we've got some NHL jersey news. The reverse retro jerseys will be unveiled on October 20th, officially, with teasers coming out on the 19th. But 2 teams today have revealed some new looks. We're going to start with the Carolina Hurricanes with their classic look. These are sharp.
These will be their 3rd jersey alternates this year. I believe this is the look that they had during their
Just my
cup run in 2006, if I'm not mistaken, with
Yeah.
current coach Rob Brindamore as the
Ooh, look at that
captain
detail.
of that team.
It's beautiful.
It's a good
beautiful
look.
shoulder
Yeah,
pads.
with
It's not too far gone from what they recently have sported, so not too much of a deviation from what they currently wear. But yeah, I think it's a good look.
I like the sparkly silver there on the last.
Yeah.
Edit.
The
Yes.
Hurricane flag on the
beautiful.
trim there.
Nice
Yeah.
little accent.
Hurricane warning flag.
Yeah, I like these better than their all black uniforms they've been wearing a lot lately. There's
Yeah,
just too
it's
much.
true.
Too much. Like I like more colors. Like
Yeah.
all black and all white.
I agree.
They're boring. Give me more colors.
Speaking of colors, the San Jose Sharks also
Yes.
unveiled
I
some new
love it.
uniforms.
I
love
it.
these. Especially so if you're listening on YouTube on a podcast, go watch the YouTube video or just go to the Sharks and Hurricanes Twitters and play along at home. The Sharks with a full teal set, teal
Yes.
helmet, teal jersey, teal breezers,
Gorgeous.
teal socks. They look awesome, and they're
look good.
very old school Sharks with the
Okay.
straight horizontal.
I have my answer. Who's the first name you guys think of when you see this?
When you see the all teals,
Any of these old school
Owen Nolan.
Owen Nolan,
Doug Wilson
Doug Wilson?
or Jeff Friesen.
Jesus. For the Sharks specifically,
Yes, this Sharks look. This reminds me of Arturs Urbe
Arturs Urbe.
beating the Red
Urbe.
Wings back in what the
with
hell year was
with
that?
with the cage,
Like
the cage
94?
helmet,
I don't know
Okay.
what year that was.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like the teal pants and all teal. The only change I would make would maybe be black gloves. Get a little differential in there.
sure.
Otherwise, I
I'm
love
okay with
it.
the teal gloves.
I love the teal helmet and the teal breezers. A lot of people freaked out. I don't say freaked out, but there was a lot of people that like when the Avalanche went to the blue breezers. I almost said blue blazer. R.I.P.
Oh man, too soon.
A lot of people were like, "Oh, I don't like that," but you know what? They look pretty good lifting the Stanley Cup
Wow.
wearing them. So
Yeah.
it's different, and I like the teal because it's not red or royal blue or black. It's unique,
Yeah.
and I'm all about. I love different colors. I love aesthetics at hockey games. So I'm looking forward to seeing them at the United
Ozolinch.
Center.
There's a good name.
Sanders
Sanders
Ozolinch?
Ozolinch, yeah.
Good call.
I always
Jerry.
think of him as an Avalanche, but yeah. Jeff Friesen was a good one. They had a lot of pretty good players. With Pat Falloon.
Pat Falloon, yeah.
Was a
I
long-time
believe
Shark.
they had former Blackhawk Wayne Presley for
Yeah.
a few weeks.
Yeah.
They good stuff.
Yeah,
those-
and
those
they
are-
got
those
now
are
they
good
got to
look.
bring back the starter jackets for everybody to wear.
Some teams have
Oh, yeah.
those.
The Sharks
Blackhawks
one.
do.
The Blackhawks did it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. the
When I was a
Blackhawks.
youth, the Sharks
Alex
starter jacket.
DeBrinket's got one in his closet after mine.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it
man.
might be on eBay.
All right, couple things we want to remind you about before we wrap up. The 25th of September is our first official CHGO Bears tailgate. Join us at the corner of Roosevelt and Michigan. Bears, Texans, a 4-hour pregame party beginning at 8 a.m. all the way to kickoff at noon. $34. Your ticket's going to get you unlimited brews, unlimited booze, food, music, games. $34. It's less than a 15-minute walk from Soldier Field, which is about as close as you can get to Soldier Field without paying $80 for parking. Join us. Go to allchgo.com to purchase your tickets. These are not unlimited tickets, so jump in and get them before they are gone. This is a tremendous deal. $34 for a 4-hour tailgate, all booze and food supplied. You do not need a ticket to the game to attend. You can get one at the Gametime app. Use that link in our YouTube descriptions and podcast descriptions when you buy tickets from Gametime. But join us at the tailgate, allchgo.com, to get your tickets. I'm going to do my best to make it. It's going to be a really awesome time. We're going to have the Green Ridge Farms meets out there and everything. It's going to be a fantastic day out in the South Loop. So join us, allchgo.com, to purchase your tickets. And we hope to see you there for the first official CHGO Bears tailgate. Again, that is Sunday, September 25th from 8 a.m. to noon at the corner of Michigan and Roosevelt. Do not miss our first tailgate. All right, we're back tomorrow, audio only. Look for the episode to drop around 11:30. We'll have a whole bunch of fun stuff to talk about there. And then the official week of training camp begins next week. We cannot wait. A whole lot of hockey coming your way. 82 games, preseason, and playoffs.
Yeah, for someone.
For someone.
No, we'll be watching the playoff games.
Yeah,
we'll
be
watch
watching
them.
I plan on watching 16 teams not in Chicago compete for the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Exactly.
We got Calder Cup playoffs, baby.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah, there you
Rockford
go.
playoffs. All right, make sure you smash that like button on YouTube if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts. We're going to wrap things up. So for Greg and Mario, thanks to Lawrence for spinning the dials today. I'm Jay. This has been the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.